Alright everybody, diecastmania here, and welcome back to another model review. Today we have the Replicars 1/50th scale Hitachi ZX890 LCH-7 hydraulic excavator. So this model was introduced in around October 2024, so it is fairly new, and it's a large model as it is a model of a 90-ton excavator. So here it is in the standard Replicars Hitachi-7 series box. On the back, a little plain, really just have the line drawing with basic dimensions and the horsepower and operating weight. We can see on the side, -7 series. On the bottom of the box, really just contact information and your warnings. So let's go ahead and open this up. Just like every other Replicars Hitachi model I've shown so far, we have the instruction sheet for the very quick assembly, the two mirrors really, and the model comes between the styrofoam and the plastic tray, secured with tape. So pulling that right off, we can access the model. There are no twist ties or anything, so the model lifts right out. And in the top right corner, we can see the mirrors attached to their sprue. There's two mirrors right there. And now for the assembly, you can identify the mirrors against the instruction sheet. One clips on the railing outside the cab, and the other mirror clips onto the front of the railing by the right-hand side of the machine, right where that step is. And there we go. So we're going to start off the functionality with the boom, stick, and bucket. We can see here the boom raises nice and high, stick extends all the way. As with most of the Replicars models, the functionality is very good. We have an excellent dig depth, nice and deep. We can see these cylinders are relatively smooth and are able to hold the model in about any position you want to set it in. The bucket curl is pretty nice on this model as well. All in all, very nice range of motion in this model. Moving on to the undercarriage and tracks. We have a metal track undercarriage. These are a wider pad than the previous 890 by TMC. They have the spring tensioner, but the top carrier rollers are static. They don't roll, but still the tracks roll decently well. The model upper structure obviously rotates 360 degrees on the undercarriage like all excavator models should, and it is relatively smooth. So moving right along onto the detail on this model, we're going to start off with the cab. This is the -7 Hitachi series cab, and as with previous Replicars models, the door opens, though it only goes about 90 degrees rather than fully flat against the side of the cab on a TMC model, though it is still very nicely detailed. And it has a top cab guard as well, which is perforated. Alright, so we're going to look at the top of the model here. You can see your handrails. These ones are plastic. The one on the cab is metal, but all the rest of the handrails around the model are plastic. You can see you have your camera on the back. There's also a camera on the side as well. This door opens to allow access to the engine compartment and other areas for general maintenance on this machine. We can see the walkways. They are not perforated, but they do look pretty nice. The engine compartment opens and reveals a pretty nicely detailed Isuzu 6-cylinder engine, the 6WG1. Looking at the top, we can see the anti-slip texturing, the two swing motors, and the hydraulic lines, which are a plastic or a soft material. They are painted pretty well and do match. The hydraulic lines to the stick cylinder are also wrapped in the metal hose guarding, and we can see the hydraulic lines leading to the boom lift cylinders. There's also some pretty decent wear plating on the back of the stick. Moving on to the bucket, it is pretty well detailed and wear plated on the back. Pretty heavy duty for a standard one to come on a model. Though on the side it looks relatively similar to the 870s. From a general perspective, the Replicars 890 is very nicely done. The undercarriage, it is pretty simple, but it is done nicely. The body has all the panel lines accurately captured. You can see all the perforations highlighted in black. The exhaust has an indentation in it, so it doesn't look like it's just a cheap piece of molded plastic. And the decals, as always, are done very nicely. On the right-hand side, we can see the perforations in the louvering for the radiators. We can see that there is some detail behind there as well, highlighted in silver. And again, the model is just done very well, and it captures the 890 nicely. Alright, so I think that well concludes the actual review of the Replicars Hitachi ZX890LCH-7. Now, the remaining question that many of you may have is, how does it compare to the TMC mass excavator version and the WSI 870LCH-3? Fortunately, I have all three of these models, and I can say that the 870 still remains at the top for overall detail and quality, as well as keeping in mind its original price point. We can see right here with the removable counterweight and the open doors for the pump panel and that other detailing in the engine area, the other models just don't have or just don't do quite as well. So, like I said, the 870 still remains at the top for detail. So both the 890s from Replicars and TMC are nice models, and aside from the fact that one of them is a mass excavator with narrow tracks and the other is a standard / reach boom with wide tracks, they are completely different castings, and each model does some details better than the other does. So overall, the Replicars has the better functionality and overall detailing on the body, though it doesn't have metal hydraulic lines or handrails, and the cab door doesn't open back all the way like the TMC version, and also doesn't have a mesh walkway. But the TMC version, they keep the detail that they have on the other models that they make, such as the functioning rollers, the etched catwalk or walkway, the door folds back all the way, metal handrails, metal hydraulic lines. So if we look at the area around the engine compartment, we can see that some attempt at detailing was just not made at all, and just overall around the machine, the detailing is pretty good, though perhaps not as sharp as the Replicars tooling. And just a general observation, I think the Replicars was put out by Hitachi Japan and the TMC was by Hitachi Europe, and that is made somewhat evident by the fact that the Replicars only has the logo on one side of the boom as per tradition. So at the end of the day, both 890s are nice models. Both cars and TMC are capable manufacturers that do a pretty good job on their models. And, really from the perspective of having these on the shelf, without having a close inspection, they're almost indistinguishable aside from, obviously, the tracks and the boom configuration. So it really just comes down to personal preference, whether you want a mass excavator or you want something with a standard boom with more reach. I showed you all the details that I could distinguish between the two earlier on in the video, so, I mean, they're both nice models, and I'm really glad that Replicars went forward with producing this version of the 890, and for being their largest excavator model to date, I think they did a very nice job, and I'm just happy to have this one in the collection. So, and we're just going to end this review quickly with some comparison shots against the Ertl 870p. And with that done, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this review. Have a great day, and we'll see you all in the next one.